Well, a very good day to you, and welcome to Aid to the Church in Need's Break the Silence podcast. I'm John Newton, the charity's Communications and Research Manager, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Bishop Alex from Yei in South Sudan. Aid to the Church in Need is a charity helping persecuted and other suffering Christians all around the world, in countless countries throughout Africa, Eastern Europe, Latin America, and in numerous other places as well. But today we're focusing on Africa, and we're focusing on South Sudan, and in particular what's happening in the Diocese of Yei. So, Bishop Alex, you were installed just 2 years ago. It's coming up for the anniversary of your installation now. Can you tell us what, as a new bishop with a new vision for the diocese, what are your plans for the future?
Thank you so much, John Newton, and thank you, Church in Need UK, for this opportunity to speak to our people. As you heard, I'm Bishop Alex Lodiong, Sakor, from the Catholic Diocese of Yei in South Sudan, and I'm barely 2 years now as a bishop. And you can see that a new bishop in a new diocese, not a new diocese, but an old diocese that has been there already for 38 years. So the first bishop was there for 38 years and 36 years when I changed him in 2 years ago. And so when I entered in, it was certainly not something so easy because I entered at a time when things were not so easy in the country as a whole. There was some civil war that broke out in 2016. And so because of that civil war, given that our diocese at the confines of Uganda and Congo, most of the time, once there is civil war in a country, normally those towns that are at the confines of other countries always they fall victims because rebel activities are normally done at the borders of a country. And so our diocese got affected very, very, very much. And so when I came in as a bishop, that was the first thing I was asking, why the Pope appoints me to be a bishop at this particular moment. But I said, that is the work of God. God is the one who wants it that way. I'm ready to be there. And so the first very thing that I started doing as a bishop was to visit the diocese, to visit the whole diocese. And it was not so easy because many of our parishes got closed. The diocese has 9 parishes, but because of the war, many of them got closed. Only 2 were functioning. And so the first thing I did was to go to visit even those parishes that are closed because many of our people went into Uganda as exiles in Congo. But there were others that remained in the bushes. And so I said, it is good as a shepherd, a bishop of a place, to reach those areas where bishop has never gone because of the war. And we were able to request the permission of the government that keep the security of the area, that the bishop should be allowed to go because the people who are in the bushes are the same Christians like those ones who are in town. And so let me be given the opportunity to visit them. And I did in 2020 and 2022. That was in July until September. I went all over the diocese. And that was kind of assessment, as it were, because without knowing the situation of the people, you will not be able to do something. So I went around, and when we finished, I came back, and then I called my priests, I called our lay, pastoral agents who were there helping, and said, this is the situation of the diocese I found, and the situation of the diocese in which I'm entering. Let us sit down and see what can we do in this kind of situation. Certainly, many of our infrastructures were destroyed because of the war, particularly schools and hospitals, presbyteries, and churches. Some of them were locally, constructed. And so because of the distractions and then people ran away, many of them got dilapidated, others actually got destroyed, vandalized. And so this is the picture of the diocese. What do we do? And so our people responded, the priests, the religious, men and women, our lay people, pastoral agents, they came, and then we sat together and we came out with a strategic plan of 5 years, how we can intervene in this kind of situation. Mm-hmm. And so that is how I started my work. And currently, as we speak, our strategic plan is now our roadmap to help us intervene in a number of issues that we have in the diocese. One of it is certainly reconstruction. And then, of course, livelihood for our people who are coming back from the refugee camps in Uganda and Congo, because they are coming on voluntarily, they are not coming officially, supported by the government and the UNHCR, but they're coming on their own. And so we said, let us be ready to welcome them It's not going to be very easy because somebody who has stayed for 10 years outside coming back to his hometown or his home village is going to start from nothing. So what can the church do? What can we do as a church to welcome these people? So that is one of our strategic activity that we have to prepare ourselves to be able to welcome these people home. Apart from the construction, project that we have to do, because when they come back, they need to find schools in place, and many of our schools are destroyed. They want to come back and find that there are health centers we constructed as a church, apart from the one that are, of course, they are government owned, but ours are also there to contribute to the services of the people. So let us try to put these things in order. And so that is one of our priority in the strategic plan, and we are now beginning to develop project proposals, also to raise awareness from our people, because we want also our people they should be able to contribute. It's not about only raising money from outside, but let them also be able to do something. We have a number of our brothers and sisters who are in diaspora because of the war. Some of them got asylum somewhere in the UK, even there are others. That's why I'm here. I came to visit this community of our people in the UK who are already settled here. They are citizens, for that matter, but they are part of the diocese, for that matter, and so they have an obligation to contribute towards the development of the diocese. So those are some two activities that are key. And then, of course, the other one is about the capacity building of our pastoral agents. Many of them, catechists in particular, have been in the rural areas with the people. They have been persevering there. They run here with the people. They run there together with the people. They have kept the faith. But many of them are keeping that faith that they got from the very beginning when they learned catechism. Some of them have never gone for training. They don't have the update about the church, the doctrine, for example. So a number of things that they lack. And so we say this is necessary for them to capacity build them so that they can continue on, sustaining the faith of the people and then do it better in the current, updates of the church. Our priests, many of them have been there all this time of the war. We are very few. Only 16 now, making 16 in August, because we are ordaining 3 more priests. We are only 16 local clergy. And some of them are already worn out. They have been there in all this heat of the war, and they never went anywhere for holiday. So we said it's good also for them to have some sabbatical rest. And that sabbatical rest means they have to update themselves a little bit with some small courses here and there, so that at the end of the day, they refresh and they come out with something. They renew their commitment and their resolve to serve the people. So that is at the level of capacity building information of people, which we thought is very, very, very necessary. For the rest, we will go step by step. There are short-term plans, there are long-term plans, construction of priest houses, construction of churches, because many of them got destroyed, they were not permanently built. So we need those are long-term projects that we will later on develop and we will share with our partners. One of them is certainly Church in Need, that has been there from the onset of the diocese in the past. They help us a lot. And because of these ups and downs of the war, they somehow, ceased from doing it because there was no opportunity for them to come in. But now, with the relative peace that we have, we're very grateful that Church in Need is responding to us. Kenga, the head of Africa section, visited us in June last year, and we had a nice time together. And that was very great for us, that we are not alone. As a local church, we are not alone. We have the Universal Church together with us. Our partners are there with us. And we were so grateful for that visit. And a number of other visits, even the Apostolic Nuncio, who also visited the diocese through the Charge d'Affaires. And that was an encouragement to us that despite the challenges we are facing, we are being visited, and therefore the church is also supporting us. And today I'm here with Church in Need UK. That is already another added, incentive to all, this partnership of our mission together. So we want to be very grateful for that. That's how the Diocese of Yei is. As I said earlier, we have 9 parishes. Many of them were closed. We have reopened now 3 of them. That means 5 of them are now fully functional. The others are still to be reopened because they are still in certain areas where there are still some activities of, rebel activities, and Many of the people still live there in fear, but we will be reopening them in the course of the years. We have a number of people still in the refugee camps in Uganda and Congo. I visited them also during 2022 when I became a bishop. They are trying to come back. But all the same, the most important thing is that when I was visiting these people, you could see the suffering, but the positive part of it is you see the resilience of faith. I always like that phrase, resilience of faith. They are there, their faith is in place, they have persevered, they have never abandoned the faith. No, saying that, why do we have to suffer like this and God is not responding to our situation? But they say, no, God is there, that's why we're here. And so that is what encouraged me, that the faith of the people is in place. And they are able to say, we want to be here, and we know God is going to respond to our situation, and our situation will improve somehow. So that is what the Diocese of Yei is currently as we speak. We are picking up. We are not discouraged. We are going forward. As a new bishop, I always pray that God give me health, good health, so that I can do your work. So that's why I'm moving around. I'm here in the UK for the same purpose of serving the Diocese of Yei.
So you've spoken there about some of the incredible challenges that you're facing. Yeah. I believe there's something like 330,000 refugees in South Sudan. You've got something like 2 million displaced. Yeah. And you've already said something about some of the marvellous work that the church is doing, that you yourself have visited these camps. Yeah. What is the church doing to address these sorts of problems on a day-to-day basis in your diocese?
Yeah, what the church is doing on a day-to-day basis is certainly we have to bring the sacraments to the people. That is the most important thing. You know, many of these faithful have been there. Some of them, actually 9 years. Recently, during Easter, I visited an area where the people have been there for 9 years without seeing a priest. You know, so when I went there, they were saying, Bishop, we are here. 9 years, no priest visited us, no bishop came to us. We are so grateful. We know that God has not forgotten us. That's why you are here today. Our children are here. They have been waiting to be baptized. Some of them are 5 years. I don't know what. Some of them want to be confirmed. Thank God you are here today. And so we have a line of people to be confirmed. You know, you can imagine 9 years period. Certainly, some of them, because of this long period of time, unfortunately, because they could not wait, they did not like their children to remain for long without being baptized. Some of them decided to go to other churches, because we have a number of churches. Certainly, the Anglican Church is the second to Catholic, but there are other Pentecostal churches that are coming up. And so some of the people, because of this long period of time not being visited by a Catholic priest and a bishop for that matter, they decided to send their children to other churches and get baptized. But when we were there, some of them, we were able to receive some back who went there, about 30 of them who came back and say, no, we were waiting, we waited, no, but we went to get the sacrament from the other churches, but now we want to come back. The bishop is here. So they came back. So I'm quite sure even the others will later on come. So that is one thing that we are doing as a church, as a diocese, to make sure that we consolidate the faith of the people by giving them the sacrament from time to time. But above all, also we wanted to educate the people. I mentioned earlier, we need to give a lot of formation, ongoing formation. As Catholics, sometimes we have this tendency that the formation remains with those, in the upper level, priests, religious men and women, but the lay people are just left there on the daily basis only to listen to the sermon of the priest, and that's enough. No, it's not enough. We have to give them catechesis. We have to give them the formation about the doctrine of the church. We need to give them more, so that at the end of the day, their faith is strengthened despite the resilience that they have. They are strengthened by the formation that we give to them, ongoing formation. So that is one of the things that we do from time to time. We build the different lay people groups, like women groups are there. We have the youth. We have other associations, other devotional groups like a charismatic group, the Divine Mercy group, and we want to form small Christian communities because that's where we find that is the best forum for us to bring the catechesis to the lowest level. Because if you make it in the big level, not everybody can come. But if you take it to the families, there you can meet the people. So we established a small Christian community in all our parishes to make sure that every week this small Christian community have meetings. They have meetings of Bible study, Bible sharing, and they have meetings to discuss about issues that face them. I mean, the social issues that face them, and how they can face those issues with faith. How they can respond to them in the spirit of faith. So that to us is what we can do to consolidate and to affirm the faith of the people on the daily basis. The others is certainly we are trying to raise vocations. As you said, I mentioned earlier, we have only 16 diocese priests. We want to raise vocations. The missionaries are very few. Some of them went away because of the war. Thank God some of them went away, but they joined the refugees. They are settling among the refugees and they're doing their ministry among the refugees. And soon they will be coming back. Some of them already came back to make assessments so that they can come back to the diocese and start their communities that we assigned to them. So we are doing that at that level, and then we hope by raising more vocations, we will have more seminarians to go to the seminary. So that at the end of the day, the number of the diocesan priests, clergy increases, because we cannot run a diocese of 46,000 square kilometers only with these 16 priests. We need to have more of them, despite the missionaries that are there who are helping us, and we are trying to request more of them to come also to make communities in the diocese. So if we have to, vocations are to be raised, are to be illuminated. There is nobody. God does not just touch people's heart like that. You have to animate. Tell them about what is the importance of being a priest, being a religious sister, a religious man, a brother, and all that.
My Lord Bishop, you say 16 priests for a diocese that size. Yeah. How do you cope with just 16 priests?
That is it. And I want to assure you that our priests, how few they are working around the clock. They are so committed. And that's where also they get exhausted, unfortunately. But they're doing the work that should have been done by 100 people. And our distances are very extraordinary. Mm-hmm. And because of the bad roads that we have, many of them had to persevere. You travel like 5 hours in a bad road, not like what we did today here, coming from Manchester to London, 5 hours drive, but a very good road. If this was a distance we cover in our place, it will take us 2 days.
Goodness.
Yeah, because the road is bad. You would have slept somewhere before you reach to London. In this distance we covered in 5 hours, but over asphalt road. Hours there is just horrible. You go down, you go up, you get stuck. You have to remove yourself, and then you proceed. And that's why we're asking our partners, you fund for us strong cars. This car we were using before, coming from Manchester to here, that one will not work in South Sudan. It doesn't. That one will just get buried in the mud, and that's it. So we are trying our best. It's certainly not. It's not it will not satisfy everybody. That means in our big parishes, the 9 parishes are big, like there are dioceses like dioceses in Europe. One parish for us is like a diocese in Europe. It's too big. A lot of outstation centers, and the priests have to visit these centers. And so you cannot cover all these centers in 1 year. That you can go to these centers every month, for example. So some centers have to wait. Maybe he does quarterly. You go to one zone for 1 month, then the next month you go to another zone. So you can see that the priests are not there all the time to celebrate the sacrament with the people because of the number we have. But at least they are able to say, if the priest can visit us once a month or in 2 months or 3 months, they're all right.
And presumably there's catechists in the parish when the priests are there.
Yes. The catechists do the liturgy of the word there at least on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. But at least once a month or once in 2 months' time, the priests come there to bring the sacraments and all this. So, it is extraordinary to do, but we are trying our best. And we hope God will help us with the more vocations to come.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah. And you've spoken a lot about the faith of the people and also about the challenges which are being faced in the Diocese of Yei.
Yeah.
How is people's faith helping them to face and overcome some of those incredible challenges which your diocese has seen and is continuing to see?
Let me start from where the Holy Father visited South Sudan last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the Holy Father was impressed when he saw people who are barely, I don't know how you can describe. In South Sudan, the economic situation is not the best. That's one issue. Leave alone the political and security. The economic part of it is difficult. But when the Pope visited, he saw a crowd of people who travel miles. Many of them came on foot to come and listen to the Holy Father. And you wonder how these people are able to come to listen to the Holy Father from all their distances. Some of them try to come using vehicles, public transport vehicles. Where they get the money, you don't know. But they were able to come. That was one indicator that the faith of the people is helping them to be resilient, even in facing the social challenges that are there in the country. And so the faith is helping these people to face, because they know that despite the challenges that they are facing in terms of economic life and political life, they know that providence is there. Providence of God is working to support them, to lead them on. You cannot imagine, for us in South Sudan, the civil servants, a civil servant, he paid $10 per month. This is a civil servant, employed by the government, $10 a month. Now, this $10 a month is supposed to cater for a family of 5 or even more. Okay? So you begin to wonder, how can this $10 sustain a family of 5? It's not possible. But out of providence, these people have to run here and there. They have to hustle around in order to supplement whatever they are getting from the civil service that are offering to the government, to the country. They hustle around, and in this hustling, they make some petty businesses. Mm-hmm. You know, and this petty business is the one that actually sustains the family, not this $10 that they receive in a month. So you can see that the providence is working. And my predecessor, Emeritus Bishop, used to be saying, the miracle of the multiplication of bread in South Sudan is happening every day. It's happening every day because you don't know how these people eat. You know, you when you go to their family and you visit their family, you really see that there is poverty. But we wake up together in the morning. Those who are able to sustain their life, wake up together with them who are not able to sustain their life, or they sustain their life with the very meager resources that they have. So the trust in God's providence, that is one thing that is keeping the people on. And that is because of their faith. Their belief in God, that God will help them to go on despite the challenges that they face in terms of economy and all that, is what keeping them on, and they're able to sustain themselves. They run here and there and all that. Politically speaking, things are not so easy yet. We had the war of 2016, but this war of 2016 was brought to some calm because of the peace agreement that was signed in 2018 between the forces that were in disagreement among themselves. Somehow there is some relative peace, but in other areas still there are insecurity because there are other rebel groups who never signed the agreement that was done in 2018. So there is still a problem to the government in place now. They said we don't agree with that pact that was signed between the other parties because it's not that's sustainable. It's not going to actually help the country thrive. So we want to continue on with our resistance to see better things. And because of that, in other areas, and one of the areas that is affected with these groups that did not sign the peace agreement with the government is Yei. Mm-hmm. There are still the presence of their supporters in our area, and the government believes in silencing them through the gun. They thought they will crush these people using the gun, And from time to time, they will go to look for them in the class. And once the class, through fighting, of course, the local people suffer, the civilians suffer at the end of the day. But that has become a story for the people of South Sudan, particularly the people of Ye. They have taken it as they are part of their life. They live by it. Mm-hmm. They say there is nothing we can do. We have been here for war. We fought 21 years against the Islamic government in Khartoum those years. We got our independence. We thought things are not going to be better. But now we are the one doing it among ourselves. So that seemed to be ordained to us as Southerners to suffer. We are ready to be that way. They have given up, saying that whatever comes tomorrow, God will bring. But as per now, we are living in this situation the way we are. We will run here, tomorrow we run the other side, and the next time we run to the west or something. So they are used to the situation already, which is not the best, certainly. But you know that in this situation of a country, there are people who are benefiting from it, particularly the elites. They are benefiting from this because they get a lot of money from outside the so-called international community, pour a lot of money, but this money ends up in the hands of very few people. Mm-hmm. Not everybody benefits from this money. Even those who are employed, civil servants, as I was saying earlier. I mean, you cannot believe that a civil servant is paid $10. It's abomination, mm-hmm. For the life of an individual. But that's what our people have learned to live with. And they say, we don't know when the good times are coming, but we're going on with this kind of situation and move on. Yeah.
And if you had just one thing you'd like to ask the people watching this podcast today to pray for the Diocese of Ye, what would that one thing be?
What I would like our listeners to this interview is to pray for peace and reconciliation in South Sudan. Peace is what we need. Peace is what the people of South Sudan need. But peace cannot come unless there is justice. If there is no justice practice in the country, peace will not come. So you pray for peace, pray for justice, pray for reconciliation, because our people are broken. Our communities are broken as a result of the war that we had in the country. Even families are broken because these families, one person may be belonging to one party, another person belonging to another party. And so even in the family, they are broken because of the differences of politics that they have in the family. So we need a lot of reconciliation at the community level, but above all at the country level. We are witnessing that these other groups that have not signed the peace agreement, the community of San Egidio and Rome is trying to help to negotiate so that they can be also brought in, and then we move on with the country. So that is the most important thing I ask in terms of prayer. Pray for peace and justice and reconciliation in South Sudan so that the people of South Sudan can rest. We had had a number of years of war. Our people seem to be knowing the only thing they know is war. But is that really correct? I think our people of South Sudan need to know peace. So that is what we want to ask for from our people, to keep praying for us. And certainly to support us in whatever ways that they can do, to raise the livelihood of the people. We are living at the level, I don't know how you can describe it. It's not abject poverty, certainly, but it's poverty. We cannot say abject poverty, but our people are living in poverty. Poverty in plenty. Our country is blessed with a lot of things. There is resources, oil is there. The country is good, the soil is good, the land is good, agriculturally speaking, people can produce food. But because of this insecurity everywhere, people cannot produce food at a larger scale. They only produce food for their sustenance. So poverty is what our people are experiencing. But out of that poverty, God is responding through His providence to keep them on. But we want to hope that when peace comes, that country will be very, very rich. Because with peace, everything can happen. There will be opportunities for people to produce. Many of our foodstuffs are coming from outside. Actually, we don't know how to produce. But we have a land that is fertile, but there is no space for people to produce within the country because of insecurity here and there. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Bishop Alex, for joining us today. Yeah. Thank you for watching the Break the Silence podcast. And please do pray for peace in Ye Diocese and keep Bishop Alex and all those under his pastoral care in your prayers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good. God bless.